Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, my name is James and this is Killing It Country. You notice anything about these trails I'm walking through right now? They are a little bit unruly, getting a little bit overgrown and out of hand, but that's okay. I think we have just the thing. Do you remember a couple of months ago I purchased a Woodland Mills WC46 woodchipper? It's just been sitting in the crate this whole time. Haven't really had time to do anything with it, but I think it's time. So let's get this thing into the garage, rip open that cardboard box, and let's give the Kubota BX a new friend. I think it's time. I gotta do something about these trails. And like always, it's gonna be fun, I promise. Let's do it. 'I get a wood chipper, they get a cardboard box. $13mm socket and wrench to remove those 4 bolts from around the frame. All right, so we've got the wood chipper opened up. We pulled the metal frame off the top. I'm kind of impressed at the way that's packaged. That's good quality packaging for sure. If that thing was beat up at all when it arrives at your house, then whoever did the handling of that machine while it was being delivered definitely was being rough with it. So good on you, Woodland Mills, for your packaging. I used the racking and threw a sheet of plywood on top of it as a workbench. Why not? And this is all of the stuff that was packaged around the side of the wood chipper. I'm guessing that you know, these pieces here, they're gonna form the infeed chute with that frame, and then this will be for forward and reverse for the hydraulic infeed. These are probably some linkages, some pieces of threaded rod, and over here this will be the discharge chute. The only thing I haven't seen yet, oh, and there it is. There's the PTO shaft. I believe that's going to have to be trimmed, but we'll have some instructions to read for sure. So we'll start tearing open all of these bags and keep our eyes peeled for an instruction booklet. Oh, gee whiz, it's probably inside the instruction tube here. Look at that. Manual and hardware inside the tube. Gotta like it. Well, there you go. Everything's all unwrapped. Parts for the infeed chute. Top of the infeed chute. Those will be the sides. That'll be the bottom. That'll be your forward, reverse, and emergency stop bar, what have you. This will form the box for the infeed chute. That's your discharge chute, and I'm assuming those handles go right on there, one on each side to help turn it. And this will be the threaded rod that gets connected after you flip the infeed chute into position, out of the storage position into the use position. And then you'll pull that hairpin on the bottom and connect that to the bottom of the chipper itself, and away she goes. So now I'm going to get the manual out. I just pulled this out of that user's manual tube. We have a nice bag of hardware here. Oh, more bags of hardware. Lots of bags of hardware. And a Ziploc bag with a user's manual. Okay, so the wood chipper infeed chute consists of 4 metal panels that are bolted together. The first step is bolting the top panel to the lower flywheel housing that forms the hinge. No, so almost the first mistake. This piece with the hinges goes on the bottom. So it forms the bottom of the infeed chute when it's in the position to operate the wood chipper. But when it's flipped into the storage position, then it kind of is the one that's on top. And we'll see that when it's together. So this is the piece I actually need first. All right, let's go look at that. So there's your hinge, right? One there. Sorry, there's your hinge right there and right there. And you can see you got your nylock nut. There's a washer there. There's a washer in the middle there, and there's also one on the outside. So, 3 plastic washers per side. We'll tighten those up now, and we'll move on to the next step. I like that. Amazon's here, Dad. Can you just make sure he does what he's supposed to do and leaves? Side panels and bottom panel. With the top panel bolted to the hinge, assemble each side panel to the sides of the top panel using the M8 by 18 millimeter button head screws, M8 lock nuts, and M8 fender washers. Use a hex key for the screws and a socket and a wrench for the nuts. Let's do it. Looks like they want the button head side of the fastener on the inside of the chute. Rounded fastener here to make sure that none of the material you're going to be feeding into this chipper is going to get caught up. If you had the nuts on the inside, they have rigid and sharp corners and that kind of stuff, and that'll have a better chance of getting hung up, right? Not to mention the extra threaded length sticking to the inside as well. So, rounded head of the bolt to the inside. So that was kind of tricky getting this edge guard on because this whole chute is tapered. Nothing kind of fits nice until this edge guard is snapped in place. And all of these tabs, they all have to be on the outside of the chute. All right. The large red in-feed control arm is attached using two M10 by 35 button head screws, M10 lock nuts, and M10 by 26 millimeter fender washers. We'll do that now. All right, so we did a few steps all together there. They want all of these left loose until you get to the stage where you're putting on this this red bar. After you get the red bar on and you get these in place, I would suggest then attaching put that linkage arm on loosely, because the linkage arm is going to hold this bar up in this position. And because of the geometry of all of this, and there's a ton of angles, you won't be able to tighten the big nut and bolt that's holding this red bar on unless you have somebody else holding it up in this position, because if it's swung down like that, it's going to change the geometry of that joint, and if you tighten it too much, you'll bend it. So I recommend that after you get that bar put on down there, at that point, you can come around and you can tighten up all of the small ones. You can tighten up the edge guard bolts, you can tighten up your main one here, and you should be good to go. So I think the next step for me is to tighten up these jam nuts on both ends, and then I'm just gonna have to keep reading. So we'll get the camera set back up and we'll keep moving. All right, so they want us to mount up the discharge chute. Running out of bags here, so it's got to be this bag. The handles are very straightforward to put on, no problems at all. Well, none of it was a problem, but the two bolts here, these are M8 by 20, and the ones that go in this side are M8 by 14. The only reason I can see why they did that is because the steel here is a little bit thicker, to maybe beef up this latch mechanism. I don't know, but it's thicker steel here, it's thin steel there, so the longer ones go in this side. Lock washer, flat washer, and there's no nuts. The actual unit itself has been tapped, and there's threads inside of it. So. What's next? What's next in the book? Let's see. Trimming the PTO shaft. All right, let's get the camera set up and we'll figure this out. Pause the movie. I have to go take the backhoe off the tractor and install the 3-point hitch lift system onto the tractor. And I just did that in my last video, so I'll link to it here. Well, we have it mounted up here on the tractor. I've never had to trim a PTO shaft before, so that was a bit of a nerve-wracking experience. What did we just do? We just mounted up the chainsaw accessory. It's very, very, very simple to do. One bolt that goes in from the back through this plate right into there, and it is mounted up and ready to go. So I'll throw the chainsaw in there just for fun and see how it looks. The last thing we need to do is mount the tow bar, which is in that box. And I believe it's going to double up on a couple of the bolt holes right here, and it will allow us to pull a trailer behind this thing while we're chipping. So I guess you can blow chips into it or whatever. So we'll get that mounted up now. All right, it's filled with oil. I think everything's put together the way it's supposed to be put together. Dad's gonna go stand outside because he's not very trusting. And let's fire this thing up for the first time. See if we can get the oil running through the in-feed roller and play with the speed adjustment and that kind of stuff. Come on. You ready? Yep, go for it. So the first problem is there's a grease fitting back here that I can't get to because of the Woodland Mills instruction manual plastic tube. So that thing's gotta go. But I was able to get the in-feed roller to start rotating, which means it is circulating oil. I didn't want to reach in here while it was running because there was a belt. Like I probably have adapters, like a 90-degree adapter to get to that grease nipple with that in place, but you shouldn't have to do that as the consumer. This thing should be set up so that you can get onto a grease nipple straight on every time, no messing around. So I don't mind taking that thing off. I don't need it there anyway. So I can grease that one now. If I can find the grease gun. Here it is.
Oh yeah, I'm going to take a look one. Of course. Hey, now we can go down the bush and get her working.
I'm gonna go grab my trailer just for fun to throw it on the back of this thing, and we'll go find something to chip. All right, so we got the wood chipper filled up with some 32 weight hydraulic oil, and I'll show you what we have planned. Got the tractor, chipper, and my 2-ton dump trailer on the back. I know what you're thinking. Woodland Mills says you can only have 200 pounds of tongue weight on that thing. Yeah, I don't care. It's pretty robust. I'm pretty confident that it's going to be fine. And if it's not, I'll eat my words and I'll fix it. So I think that this is what we're going to have to do on the trails is when we get to the location that we're going to want to chip, we'll just have to jackknife this dump trailer a little bit into the side of the trail, and that kind of tips the front of the dump trailer down, which is the way it needs to be when it's chipping, right? I mean, the manual says you want this thing sitting on the ground to chip, because that's how you get the most direct angle on your PTO shaft when you're running this thing. And it's great, because that's the angle we need, right? I mean, I can rotate that discharge chute around. I can point it right down to the inside of that dump trailer. We can chip everything we need. And if I'm chipping a good species of tree like a cedar, I can save those chips and I can put them in gardens, do all sorts of stuff. So yeah, pretty exciting. Let's rotate this around here. Right, and then you can lock that in place into one of the holes, and you can adjust this down, blow those chips right in that trailer. So let's go find some annoying trails, and we'll cut some brush and try this sucker out. Try it. Well, Woodland Mills WC46 PTO driven wood chipper. I guess it works pretty good. I mean, this is not a review. You guys know you don't get reviews from me until I've broken something at least 5 times and have like 500 hours on it. So we'll see how it goes. But this is the reason here why I had these hydraulic lines from the rear remotes made super long, and put these extra length of hoses on here so that I could have full functionality of this dump trailer while it was connected to the chipper. So Dad's going camping, so we're just going to take some of these larger logs up and cut them up into friendly camping size so that we don't have to pay for wood when we're camping. We just bring our own in. But yeah, she's working. There's the chips. Blew right in there, no problem. So I'm sure you're going to see this machine coming up real soon in a couple of videos, because the trails here are getting ridiculous. You can't go for a walk without getting slapped in the face by some horrible fast-growing species of softwood. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you got something out of it, please like, share, and subscribe. And you can follow me on Instagram if you want to, at killingitcountry. But other than that, that's all I got for you today, guys. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. Until next time.